So welcome, guys, to today's Home Inspector Vendor Spotlight, another session, and I am super excited to have the brothers in the house. Spectora is with us today, and I'm going to let these guys tell us all about themselves and what their challenges in the software programs, programming part, some of the challenges in our industry, and things of that nature. So welcome, guys.
Thanks, Gary. Thanks for having us. We appreciate being on. We know you have a great following and well-respected Facebook group, so thanks for having us. I'll jump in and just give my introduction and background. I'm Kevin Wagstaff. I am the one with the background in real estate. I've been a realtor for 6 years here in Denver, and I also have a background in SEO. I worked at Home Advisor for a number of years, and that was some of my experiences that led us to create Spectora.
Great.
Yeah,
Great. Go ahead, Kevin. Yeah.
And my background is in software engineering. I spent a number of years building other people's startups, as well as movie websites for the Hollywood scene, mobile apps, iPhone games. And so when it came time for my brother and I to start a business together, it just kind of came naturally that we can build a web platform. And it was right around the time that I bought my first home as well. So just seeing what the inspection report looked like was a little bit of an inspiration.
What a broad base for your experience. I mean, that's fantastic. You're able to bring a little bit of a twist from the sales side of it, from production side of it, and even from the Home Advisor side of it. That's fantastic. How do you think that's helped you? Did you think it's helped you understand home inspectors and the end product, which is our use of the software?
Absolutely. I would say being a realtor and having worked with a number of home inspectors that in hindsight now I know used a number of different programs to generate the report, and just thinking back how I interacted with those reports and observing the client, it was something I was always pretty in touch with. So that experience alone, thinking back, was invaluable because I heard the questions people would ask about the report, the follow-ups, and some of those pain points in hindsight informed a lot of our experience with this on that side of it.
Right.
And then the Home Advisor experience, obviously working with contractors and understanding their marketing needs, that's pretty self-explanatory as kind of the insight there, and to see how the big boys do it, like Angie's List, Home Advisor, companies like that.
And of course, from my end, feeling like I had the mindset of the consumer that is the end recipient of the home inspection report, I really want to dive into what kind of presentation makes it most useful to the home buyer. And if they like it, and if the agent likes it, then it's going to get the home inspector more business. And, in my experience, I've always tried to design really user-friendly products. And so that's been something that my experience has lent to the creation of Spectora.
So what do you think, when you're talking about designing and the way you create it and the steps you take and moving from one phase to the next, what are some of the tools you guys implement either in the background or on the front end to help that growth and to help you move forward without having to fun? Everybody has those glitches where you grow and how do you handle that part?
Yeah, scaling up the business has been tremendous fun and challenging at times. Like you said, we're growing quickly, and so we're constantly implementing new processes, whether it's in how users give feedback. We just rolled out a new board for feature requests, and so everybody can vote on the things that they want most. We're scaling up the software side, we're scaling up the hardware, we're scaling up the human resources. Is that what you were asking about?
Yeah. So the board, so I would think that the board would allow some interaction between your development team or the development side of it and the home inspector needs, because the home inspectors are needy. We're needy guys.
No.
Yeah. So being able to,
I want to say we love the amount of engagement we've been getting from our community. We have guys sending us ideas and requests and comments and compliments, and we really pride ourselves on how much we have engaged with home inspectors. Very early on, before we even started building, we had a beta group of inspectors that we were bouncing every idea off of and showing them every test build until we got to that point of release. And then since then, in the past year, we've been engaging with hundreds of guys that have been giving us awesome ideas. It's really guided the development of our product. So we really like to consider ourselves the inspector-first software platform.
Right, right. So, so you might say that some of what you're offering, or what the product, the end result of the delivery is somewhat inspector generated or inspector influenced.
Most definitely, most definitely. There's features that you can go to our user base and they can say, yep, we were the ones that requested that, and then it happened a few weeks later, and our users seem to be pretty thrilled at our pace of development so far.
And Gary, I'd say it's a great balance between the focus groups we did with agents and home buyers to form some of what the report looks like and how it functions, mixed with the functionality on the inspector side. If the feedback has been phenomenal in terms of the end report being very friendly for clients and agents, but then the functionality being very friendly for inspectors that just want to figure it out and save time.
So there's no doubt that we have challenges meeting all the needs of everyone with the data that's delivered from the client to the agent to both sides of it. I've seen some giblets of your stuff, and you're friendly agent, and you're having to toss a balance between working with a home inspector team, whether it's a single inspector guy that's just running a one-man show versus developing this thing for a multi-inspector firm, and also being able to deliver each one of those in-house inspectors the ability to help the agents move the data. So what are those challenges like? Tell me, can you speak to that?
Yeah, it's a great question, Gary. We definitely are balancing the needs of the small inspector, whether it's a solo one-person shop, all the way to our largest client has 13 inspectors and everything in between. And so we're constantly trying to ensure that the interface is accessible and user-friendly to the new inspector, and then has a deeper feature set for inspectors as their company grows and as they become more of a power user and have more demands on how they want to deliver the reports, for example, that they have all those options available. And so you're right that we're trying to meet a lot of needs, and we're constantly navigating what's the best way to do so. And like I mentioned earlier, the engagement with our user base has been so key in figuring that out.
So one of the thing, back to the Trillo question, what drove you to Trillo?
Yeah.
I know that's one of the challenges of developing something is you've got to have a list of to-dos, and 6 things are like at the top of the list, and 4 you just wish you'd never seen them before. How did you land on Trillo?
Early on, it was pretty easy when we only had, several dozen, maybe 100 inspectors giving us input. And as that moved into the hundreds and then thousands, the noise got very hard to navigate. We were getting sometimes 100 feature requests in a given week. And of course, everybody thought that was the most important thing we could possibly do at the time. And while we really appreciated it, we felt like we were starting to get bogged down and just not knowing what the majority of people. And so we thought, hey, let's create a public roadmap where we can show all the ideas that we're working on, that we're considering, as well as give a way for users to submit their own ideas. And then they can add comments if they want to have a discussion about the features that we're evaluating. And I think that really gives us a good gauge so that it's not just gets an equal voice with that one vote.
So as opposed to the Facebook page, the Facebook group page, where everything, it's unorganized, everybody is putting, and you have members. You also have a member thing where I know you guys want to talk to membership, but you also want to drive members and new users to your platform. and so I could see where, you know, kind of pulling back on the Facebook thing and going to a more organized way to capture ideas and roll out new features and things of that nature would help you in your growth. Where do you see it going? Where are we headed? What's some of the big things that you think that you would like for the software to provide later? I've seen a couple of things in there on your platform, like scheduling, like some cost totaling and that kind of thing. Is that where you're headed?
Yeah, we're very excited about the online scheduler. It's gotten great feedback so far. So that's out in the wild and taking in live inspections. Live syncing is something we're excited about for multi-inspector companies or team inspectors, where it updates on multiple devices as you're doing the inspection. Something we think is pretty innovative and fun. We still have some testing to do on it, but something that's coming in the future. Especially since
I've got an iPad and an iPhone, and I'm trying to sync them up, and I want to use one as a walk around, one as a roof data entry point. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. We hear that from many inspectors, and we want to make sure that we're making it as easy as possible to, use the iPad when you're in the house, but when you're balancing up on a windy roof, you just have to pull the phone out of your pocket, and they're all talking to each other, updating in real time. So that's coming up. We're also working on more tools for agents. I think that's going to be a big feature. A lot of people are very excited to see an agent dashboard, a way for agents to schedule via an app, a way for them to create custom reports where they can pick and choose different defects, and then it just generates to something they can send to the listing agent or a contractor. And so these are some of the things in the pipeline, as well as just integrations with other services. Google Drive automated backups of your inspections so that you have it in multiple places. We want to integrate with some accounting software. There's plenty of places that we can go, and we're really excited for what this year has in store.
And a lot of folks, I think a lot of mistakes a lot of developers have made, and I'm definitely one of them, is you brand your product to a niche rather than a broader. Spectora is a fairly broad name, I think. I mean, it can be home inspector inspections, but Spectora could be something that maybe a contractor would buy in on, or a handyman, especially if that cost module thing that you're talking about putting together. It could be sold another niche market or another space, so to speak. So I like that idea of you've not branded your name so deeply into the home inspection profession that it could not be sold as something else. So I think that you're smart in doing that.
Well, we're focused on home inspectors right now, and who knows where it will go from here.
That's
Maybe
right.
we'll hire you on our product team, and you can help us with the next phase.
Yeah.
But we're always open to ways of branching it out, and I think our guiding compass is whatever is best for the home inspector, the customer, the agent. Because as long as we're providing value, there's a lot of different places the product can go, but it's got to just be rooted in providing good value.
Right. So tell me a couple of things that you would like for the folks to remember about Spectora, just short term here. You guys are coming up. What's your schedule like coming up? You're going to be at, I think I've understood you're going to be at the next InterNACHI thing coming up. What, in March or May or something? When is it?
Late April. So it's, I believe, April 28th through May 2nd, the InterNACHI convention in Atlantic City. So for anyone that's on the eastern side of the country, or even if you come from the West Coast, we'll have a booth there, or 2 booths there, and we'd be happy to meet everyone and shake hands and chat.
We're also going to be doing a presentation on digital marketing, how to get more business as a home inspector. It's a class that we teach at InterNACHI headquarters every month for their new inspection team and for their new inspection class. And we're going to be teaching it to a much bigger audience in Atlantic City in April.
So you do something other than the software thing, which is you've got an SEO product out there.
Yeah, so we
somewhat tied to the software. Is that right? No?
They're somewhat independent, so it's usually our software users that go with us for building a website or doing SEO services. And so it's, yeah, generally the inspector wants to get a little bit more business, understand how to be more competitive. And those are some services that we offer to help out our inspectors.
Great to have you in the house, guys. And I hope to have you back soon on the vendor spotlight, and for all you guys that have been hanging on, thank you for watching, hanging out. Hopefully we'll have a little bit better reception. I know some of this, some of our connection, our internet speed was a little bit shaky here today, but see you online.